I made a video immediately after the fight titled, "The One Thing That Robert Whittaker Did Wrong." His one mistake. His one mistake was soft resets. I broke down why soft resets allowed Isreal Adesanya to implement and impose more of his game plan. In this video, I'm gonna break down how Isreal Adesanya forced those soft resets out of Robert Whittaker. Now, the soft reset is when you and I are fighting, we're going back and forth, I throw my combination, boom, 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 and then we're done. A hard reset is when I come in, throw my combination, boom, boom, slip, and I'm still in your face, throwing punches back and forth. It's not allowing that time in between combinations to think, because that's what Isreal Adesanya was doing. That's his entire game. It's his mind, obviously. He's not a striker that has the ability, the body type, or the style to be able to come in, peekaboo style like Mike Tyson, and throw him big overhands. That's not his style. That's the style that Robert Whittaker had to implement to counter Isreal Adesanya. A lot of people talk about reach and they bring up John Jones, for example. The only reason why John Jones's reach is so imposing is because he uses it. I'm 6'8" with shoes. And if I come in and I'm fighting you peekaboo style like Mike Tyson, throwing short hooks, it's gonna feel like you're fighting somebody who's 5'10". That's why you see fighters with really long reaches that are somehow at the end of the shorter fighter's strike. It's because of how that fighter chooses to fight. If I don't fight long and bladed with long jabs, long crosses, then I'm gonna be what? Right here. This is my range instead of being real long. And a tall fighter who wants to be real long like myself, like Isreal Adesanya, needs soft resets to be able to think, compose ourselves, and it's safer. When you're not pressuring us, we have the ability to pressure you. You burst, we normally have 1 or 2 strikes, and then we have to get our head off center line, frame, post, and get out of there. Hit an angle and bounce, which is exactly what Isreal Adesanya was doing. Isreal Adesanya implemented 4 things to offset the pressure of Robert Whittaker. The first one was the lead hand frame off of Robert Whittaker's shoulder. Now, this does a couple things. The lead hand frame off the shoulder not only stops me from throwing that hand, but if you look into Muay Thai, they use what's called the X guard. I use it a lot too. When I'm throwing my hands out like this, your punches now have obstacles to get around. I want you to try something. I want you to just throw punches in front of your face for a second. Just throw a few punches, okay? And then I want you to go and have somebody put, say, a broom handle facing just straight, right in the middle of your vision. And now I want you to throw punches and see how much more difficult it is to throw a punch out when there's something there. There's only so much space that can be taken up between 2 fighters, whether they're fighting at this distance or this distance. If you're putting something in that space, your opponent has to throw around that. If not, you're just a heavy bag. If your hands are just right here, my hands have full reach, full momentum to come to your head. So the first thing was the frame off of that shoulder. What Isreal Adesanya did off of that was he would hit a 45 or a 90-degree drop step into southpaw when he was orthodox. Now, he did it when he was southpaw, going back to orthodox as well, but most of the engagements from distance happened with Isreal Adesanya in orthodox and Robert Whittaker coming in. So what would happen is Isreal would either throw his strike or go straight to the frame, take 1 step back, and if you can imagine, Israel's right shoulder's forward, and they're right here, okay? He frames off the lead shoulder, and then when Robert Whittaker's coming in, he switches his stance, takes his left leg, this side, his lead hand side leg, drops it backwards, and switches stances this way. So Robert Whittaker's pressure is all coming this way, and then Isreal bails out to that right side. He was hitting between 45 and 90-degree drop steps, kind of depending upon the angle that Robert Whittaker was coming at. Now, the issue with doing that kind of a drop step is that realistically, the most powerful strike that you can throw is if when I'm coming in this direction, your punch is coming this direction, opposing momentums. I slip this way, you throw the punch and it hits the chin. Isreal Adesanya was able to avoid that opposing momentum strike by using sort of a Floyd Mayweather pseudo Philly shell. So he would lead hand frame, drop back, and as he's dropping back with that drop step in the southpaw, he's turning that shoulder, and the hooks that would normally come and just clip the chin and make your chin touch your shoulder, the knockout strike, are bouncing off his shoulder and going up and over his head. It's beautiful. As a tall striker who my entire life is devoted to staying on the outside and avoiding wrestlers. I am enamored with what Isreal Adesanya is doing. It is fantastic. I mean, there's so much footage and tape for me to study. You're going to see 45 different Isreal Adesanya videos. I'm just going to keep finding more and more things because I'm going to implement every single bit of it. Now, there's a part of Isreal Adesanya's game that I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm pretty positive Robert Whittaker's coaches and Robert Whittaker himself noticed watching tape leading up to this. Isreal Adesanya takes an approach of, you burst me, I avoid it, and then on the re-engage, there's a soft reset, and then on the re-engage, immediately when you come into striking range, normally that's when he would be feinting. Isreal, he uses so many feints, knee feints, hand feints, shoulder feints, getting you reacting to everything, trying, just making reads on you. He throws that, normally when he would come in a distance and throw that feint, he immediately engages, immediately after you've bursted forward. So what happens? You burst Isreal lead hand frames, drop step, shoulder rolls, gets out, you guys come back in again, boom. He's throwing that strike immediately off top. Isreal Adesanya switched up so many times in this fight. Both times Isreal Adesanya knocked Robert Whittaker down were with not even a hard reset, just not resetting. He would hit one angle, he would hit the drop step, and then he wouldn't shoulder roll frame and backpedal after that in a new angle. He would just hit that drop step and immediately throw back. I thought that Isreal Adesanya, from the angle that I saw when Isreal Adesanya knocked out Robert Whittaker, or knocked down Robert Whittaker in the first round, was due to the rear hand up jab like he dropped Derek Brunson with. It wasn't. He threw a right hook, opposing momentum right hook. Robert Whittaker came in, got tied up in an orthodox stance, and Robert Whittaker used the southpaw drop step. He did it at a 90-degree angle instead of a 45, which was probably been a better option there. Hit a 90-degree. Actually, no, he did hit a 45. He did hit a 45, and when he went to go backpedal, Isreal Adesanya caught him with the rear shovel hook. Once again, he's waiting for the soft reset for Isreal Adesanya to avoid pressure and backpedal, and he was keeping him guessing. Anytime Robert Whittaker thought that Isreal Adesanya was going to backpedal, go out, and Robert Whittaker said, okay, I'm not going to chase him down, so I'm just going to reset and we're going to go at this again, Isreal Adesanya would stay in the pocket. And vice versa. It was a fantastic performance by Isreal Adesanya. Absolutely masterful. Which shows just how damn good Kevin Gastelum is. Kevin Gastelum was able to maintain constant pressure throughout that fight, and instead of it taking 2 rounds for Isreal to figure him out, it took him 4. It took him 4 rounds. Go back and check my video on the Gastelum-Isreal fight, because that was a fantastic fight as well. Isreal Adesanya just keeps getting better and better with every fight. Guys, I don't know how his mind works, but tonight I think we got a pretty good glimpse inside. Side note, guys, if you don't have enough people to talk combat sports with, look up Combat Sports World on Facebook. It's myself and a bunch of other fighters just in there sharing, talking about combat sports. Until next time. I gotta go. I gotta jitsu my dog. You gotta learn not to come on these mats with muddy paws, brother. What are you looking at?